Hey, how's it going? My name is James P. White. This is the Bald and Short of It podcast, and that is none other than Chris Mooney, the biggest asshole on the planet, and one of my good friends. But this is the Bald and Short of It podcast. We have a lot of stuff to talk about for this podcast, not only regular stuff that's happened, but we've had a week. Like, I've actually spent more time with him than I've really wanted to this week. And so, like, we spent like the last 2 days together. Now we're doing a freaking podcast, and I'm looking forward to a vacation. Um, but but yeah, we've had a busy week. Let's like we could touch on some of the stuff that we've done, Chris, over the week, but we're really gonna get into the balls of it, like dealing with the dog tank and the sorority stuff that happened. But let's get right into it. Let's hear about your week.
Oh, it was a great week. Yeah, we definitely had the hangs. We had the long weekend, which is pretty cool. Uh, Business is going pretty well. Um, but I was lucky enough to get on the boat a couple times since our last chat. That was something that I've sort of been neglecting this summer. Um, so that was great. I got to spend some time with my folks, help them out with something at home, and had a really nice chat with my pop. Yeah, and then there's the other stuff, maybe it's kind of obligations like hanging out with you or whatever, but I don't want to dwell on it. Once this
Yeah,
podcast's over, I'm good.
yeah,
I'm
like
good for at least a week.
yeah, I'm good. Like, being obligated to, with the fact that, I'm one of your only friends that actually talk to you, and me feeling like I have to, at least spend a little bit of time with you so that don't get depressed and, hang yourself from your garage. But, but yeah, we have spent a lot of time this week, but I've actually had a pretty cool week. One of which was, uh, it was a last minute invite from a friend of mine. She invited me to go to, it was a punk rock show. I can't remember the name of the band, but it's in my artwork. I'm actually going to
DOA,
post.
DOA.
No, no, but DOA is, like the documentary was about, Joe Kenny, sorry, Keith Lee from DOA. And I won tickets to go see his show on Sunday, but it was a local band. I think I I can't even remember the name of the band,
Doesn't matter.
but it doesn't matter. I actually have the artwork from the event. I'm gonna put it right here. Um, like it was a punk band, and it was a cool documentary about Keith Lee. I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name right. He was a member of the band. He is very pro environment, and he lives in BC, and he became a member, member of the city council, and just his whole take on life as a member of the Green Party. It was actually a really cool documentary, and I won tickets to see their show this week. And and I'm going to touch on something that, so Mooney and I, we decided that it was a good idea for us to go on the boat, which was a near death experience for myself.
Oh, God.
Was the getting off the boat was because the three of us get in the truck. I'm closing the door and I see the road moving beside me. You start driving your frickin' truck while I'm not totally in the truck yet. The door was still open. When you're sitting there staring at the road and it's moving, dude,
You're
that's like,
you're in the truck.
but the door was open. When there's this little light on your dashboard that says door is ajar, that doesn't mean your door is ajar. That means it's open. So
I'm not.
maybe
I'm
you
not. I'm
might
not.
want to
I'm not
look
going to
and
sit here and
see
take
if the
advice from a
door
guy
is
that doesn't
open.
even drive.
Okay, no,
Just
this is the second time that somebody tried to kill me in a vehicle. Because, like, for those of you who remember from when I was with Cruise FM, I was in an Uber with Lachlan Cross and a couple of other friends of mine, and the Uber started driving, and my foot was still out of the car, which could have been dangerous. especially with the fact that while the car was moving, I fell out. But this
So
wasn't as
this
bad.
this
I was at least
okay,
in the
okay. So
truck
why talk about it? Why are you coming after
because
me
you
like this?
started driving with the door open.
That's bullshit. It's like just it's just that you're taking advantage here. Like I've been nothing but considerate all the times we drive,
You
and
started
like
driving when I
I
wasn't in the truck totally.
I
How
make
is
sure that
that
you're sorted
considerate?
out. I've always got your back, and then you come after me like this. I mean, I got to tell you, it's so
Yes.
heavy-handed. Kind of a
Yeah,
dick
so
move,
heavy
really.
head. Like how many times have I, started the truck when you were not totally in? Like, how many times have I done that to you?
Just really
Exactly.
class.
See,
It's
I
pretty
have
classless.
consideration.
Pretty
I
classless.
know,
Like
and I do accept your apology.
I
Um,
haven't apologized. Like I
yeah,
figured that after 15 minutes of you like getting in the car and like I could probably leave, but giving you all the time that you need, and it just I don't know what was going on if you're tying your shoelaces or looking at your phone, but you forgot to close the
you
door. I
have a
mean,
bigger truck.
I can't take
Dude, it
responsibility. I
takes
just
me
can't.
longer to get in your truck than it does you. I am
It's just a dick move.
smaller.
You
It
shouldn't
is
have
a
brought that
raised
up.
truck. You should have looked to see if a door was open.
I even have the
Just
running
saying.
board there, so you can get in really easily. There's a nice handle there. I mean, I don't know what for
I'm
20
gonna give
minutes
you
I
a nice I'm gonna
like
give you a nice handle. Um,
just little classes, Jimmy. Like it'd be nice if
yeah,
maybe you
I
set the bar a little higher,
like
please. Like
I
kind of a dick move. I don't think my listeners are going to appreciate that. Like come after the
yeah, I
talent
don't
like
think
that.
they're gonna appreciate either that you are trying to kill me. The only person that can edit video. Um, like wow, okay, but but that was my week, and like we had the dunk tank yesterday at the decals. We'll get into that a little bit
Oh, by the
a
way,
bit
one
later.
thing. Sorry, one thing I missed about my week too is like the day you look forward to all year. If you're a fantasy football player, is we had our draft on Saturday, and I'll talk more about that later.
Actually, why don't you do that right now? You touched on it. So you were talking. So you did your fantasy football thing. What's this
Yeah,
AI that you
yeah.
were talking about?
So um, anybody who knows me is like in my league. I have like every year I do research for like a month. I have like this almanac magazine. It's like this thick, and then it's like dog eared, and there's like post-it notes everywhere. And I have my master list, and then my rookie list, like everything. I put a lot of time into it, and like I use Grok AI and I use Gemini AI. I prefer to use Grok. That's the X version of AI. It gives me a little bit better answers. Actually, um, a good example of also why I use Grok is that Gemini is run by Google, Grok is run by X. And I was with my buddy Paul in Reno in May, and we were sitting at a bar, and we're like, "How far is this from our hotel?" And Gemini's like, "The bar that you're at, such and such a place, is 3.9 miles from your hotel." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I asked Grok, and Grok's like, "I couldn't tell you because I don't keep track of where your hotel is." And I don't track you. So I was like, oh, I can live with that. Um, anyways, I thought this year I'd give it a shot. A lot of the research that you do, besides your almanac and all that, is like on the internet anyway. And the whole purpose of AI is to aggregate that data and come up with the most reliable solutions or answers. So I had a dialogue with Grok for like 3 weeks before my draft, and um, I was getting some good tips. It was going pretty well, and it kind of knew what my priorities were and what my strategy was. And it's like, okay, we know that you're picking 12th in a 12 team league. That means you get 112 and 2-1 and blah blah blah. This is your strategy. Um, Text me closer or message me closer in this chat to the day, and we'll do some mock drafts. Blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, like I'm in good shape here, right? And then I don't know if it was like my third pick or something. Uh, it suggested that I take this player Rasheed Rice with the Kansas City Chiefs, and the guy is suspended the first 6 games of the season. So like he probably would have gone a round or two later. And I don't like what you didn't know this. And right, like guys in your fantasy league, like when you draft live together, like you're in a bar. We're at Sherbrooke. Hello, Janet. Thanks again for having us. But nobody is going to help you. They're not there to help you. They don't care if you pick a guy who's doesn't even have a contract. They'll let that happen. But as soon as it happens, they're like, "Hey, by the way, he's suspended." I'm like, "What?" I thought they were busting my balls. So then I go online and I'm like, "Holy shit!" The guy suspended the first 6 games of the season, a full third of the NFL season. So it left me scrambling a little bit for a wide receiver after that. But yeah, and there was another one. I used up my juice with Grok, so it said you can't send any more messages. So I'm like, well, what the fuck, man? So I copied all of my players and all the players chosen thus far in the draft and pasted it onto Gemini and asked Gemini for help. And Gemini suggested I take a player who doesn't have a contract, literally doesn't have a contract. Looks like you need a little bit more running back depth. You should pick Gus Edwards. So I did. And then I Googled it after and I'm like, holy shit, this guy doesn't have a contract. He hasn't had a contract since like April or something. Um, so that happened. And then um, they kept telling me to take George Pickens like in the later rounds. And I'm like, that guy's on the fucking list. Like he was picked like 8 rounds ago. Anyways, I'm not doing that again. AI and fantasy might be good for sit or start type stuff, but it's not good for drafting. And it's going to be back to the magazines, the drawing board, and relying on good old Chris Mooney, the greatest mind in fantasy team management. So we'll get right back on track. And you know what? That's not going to say that I'm not going to do well. I'm going to dominate the league again. I just had to make some adjustments on the fly. So that's all I got to say about that, which was a lot. So thanks for your patience.
Well, so you're done, so I can wake up. Remind me not to talk about fantasy football with you again. That was the most boring thing I think I've ever had a conversation with anyone about. You know,
You know what?
it kind of reminds me of that one part from Billy Madison when the principal goes, that was the most dumbest answer I've ever heard, and may God have mercy on your soul. I feel dumber now after talking to you. Um,
That's a low bar. Wow. You're the
I
one that
know
told me to talk about it. And I will tell you this.
I didn't realize that that far. I didn't realize it was going to go into you actually explaining all your picks.
So just so you
Um,
understand, you're the producer. I'm the talent. If we're running a show, keep that in mind when you make suggestions. Um, also, I empathize with any of you, dear listeners, any of my fans out there that that were a little bit bored there
that
because
whole one, like, not even your friends that we're mutual friends with are your fans of this podcast. I've talked to a few of them, and one of which is Bayrak, who we had on our podcast last week, and he's a bigger fan of me than you, and you've been friends since you guys were kids. Like,
he's
I don't
just
know where you're getting.
he's a good soul and he wants to make you feel good like you're one of the guys or whatever, and that's okay. Like that's allowed. I'm not going to complain. My ego isn't that fragile. Um, but yeah, like before I started playing fantasy football and I listened to the team 1260 or TSN 1260 or whatever, and they'd have segments on fantasy, I was like kind of bored. So my
They
apologies.
they
We'll move on.
they were Team 1260 at the beginning, and
Yeah,
then
and then there's TSN.
when Bell took changed it to TSN, they were TSN. But yeah, they all those guys, they know a lot about sports and stuff like that, and they're good guys. But yeah, um, so that was sports. That was AI football for those who cared. Um,
Yeah, but
and
anyway, that kind of wraps up my week. Besides our hangs, so I don't know if you want to get into that, but um,
uh,
couple great days, really. Like,
yeah, we had a couple really good days, and again we like especially when we're on the boat and you and I are talking. it was a little bit different this time because we had Ian and then there was a three-man conversation. But sometimes when we're on the boat and we're drinking and we just like, we should almost record that stuff. It's like,
Get a little
but, but,
philosophical.
uh, but it gets a little philosophical. That's actually where we kind of originally came up with the idea of doing this podcast is because we just talk about random stuff just as it comes up and,
Well,
and
like
we say things
one of the
and,
things that I've learned over the years hanging with you is like I've gotten smarter about it. So I try to bring other people and insert more people around so that I don't have to necessarily, directly talk to you or hang out with you as much. So,
and
um,
I appreciate that I don't have to talk to you either. Um, like I really do appreciate it. Like where I'm stuck talking to you for, you know, 4 hours on the bus and on the boat and going, huh,
but
this is my life, eh? Uh,
we had a great day. My buddy Tony, our buddy Tony, and his son Asher came on too. He's at the marina as well, and he's got a jet ski, so they just took that and then just tied off with us and hung out for a couple hours, which was great. I hung out with Tony on Saturday too, which was awesome because he's one of my closest friends, and we don't get to see each other as much, so catching up was pretty good. But
what
um,
what I found funny about that is I was getting into the beer a bit, and I was talking to Tony and his son was there, and he goes, and I was talking about escorts or something, and he goes, my son's right there, and I'm like, oh shit, he's 10, like he's 10 years old, and I'm like, so he's learning about escorts early. Um, yeah,
that's a service, you know.
yeah, it's it's for that great awkward conversation on the drive home. What does he mean? What does he mean escort? Like, what's an
But
escort? Uh,
we can't talk about like the weather. The weather was it was obviously really warm, which was great, but it was a little cloudy and maybe smoky, and then there was a bit of a breeze to it at the end. But all in all, a good day.
yeah,
Especially considering that we capped it like we usually do at the Wabaman Hotel bar.
yeah. Because
That saloon is like,
we either end it at the Wabaman Bar or start it there if it's raining when we get there. Waiting for the weather to go over. We've done both, but we always end up there at one point in
yeah,
our boat trip. And yeah, it's kind of
it's
become
a
a tradition. We've only done it twice this year, you
yeah.
and I, but it was a good day on the boat.
Like last year we did that and we were there all day, right?
Yeah,
We got to the marina and it was kind of
and it was
less shitty or whatever. And I
that.
think
Yeah, that was last year.
yeah, you, me, and
I
Diener
think it
were
was
there.
you,
We
me.
just
Yeah, Diener.
we kind of planted ourselves there for this day. But listen,
Yeah,
folks, if you ever get a chance to check it out, it's a classic old saloon. They got the carpet on the floor, bottles, um, pickled eggs, you name
yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, oh
They
yeah.
have
The pickled eggs in the jar on the counter. The
yep.
jerky in the jar on the counter. Like, oh yeah,
Well, they used to have shuffleboard, but they got a bunch of VLTs now. And the restaurant that's attached to it is under new management. And Jimmy and Ian tried out their fare, and it was really
it
good.
it was really
Um,
good. Yeah,
yeah, I had one of your potato skins. That was really good.
yeah. Uh, you were watching your weight. That's why you were only drinking and not eating.
Yeah,
You know, as you do. So okay, so that was that. Where, but let's get into before we get into the other big event that we did this week, which was yesterday. One thing that I have in here, and we've been trying to talk about it for a while, and since we kind of touched on weather a little bit,
yeah.
extreme temperature warnings, because you have a problem with that,
I have a big
like
problem with that.
weather warnings, like alerts on that kind of stuff. So I'm here to help you. I'm here to, kind of be your counselor,
Here we go.
as they say. Tell me your problems.
All right, listen. So it's a bigger issue than the weather warnings per se, but I think we're all used to now seeing those extreme heat warnings when it's like plus 30 degrees Celsius. And it's a it's a bigger issue than that, but it's the idea that the government's infantilizing all of us, that we can't take care of ourselves and manage our shit. So um like a little over a week ago I was in Vegas and I was at the pool and it was like plus 42 degrees Celsius. And I voluntarily went to the pool and it was a great time. Not It's not for everybody, and that's like fair fucks to you, but that's a choice that we all make. Um, but then you come home and they're like, it's like plus 30 and they're like extreme heat warning, like, oh, you poor, useless fuck, you can't handle the heat or manage your life without our warning. And, they call it Environment and Climate Change Canada now. I just, I feel like again, like we're being infantilized and also that, manipulated by the government to be more worried about things than we need to be. Now, I know we talked about this, Jimmy, and I don't want to take away from your thoughts, but like I get it. I mean, if you're outside and it's minus 30 odd and it's got a wind chill and whatnot, and you're standing in your yard for more than 5 minutes, like you could die. I get that. And going like, okay, like if you do that when it's minus 30 because the threat is real and direct, that's a courtesy. But when you tell me, oh, it's plus 30 and I got to warn you about extreme heat, that's a bridge too far. And it's like, guess what?
But
I'm an adult. I know how to govern my life. Like, stay the fuck out of it. My opinion.
but 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 my thoughts on that is kind of with this extreme cold. But I was thinking about this after that. What about the people that work outside? Okay, extreme heat warning. Hey, make sure you bring sunscreen, bring a hat, bring water. They don't say that, but if someone like say a roofer or someone who works outside, like a landscaper that works outside all day, I would want to know, hey, be aware that it's gonna be fucking hot. Like, and so be prepared. Make sure you have a hat, sunscreen, extra water, whatever, because because if you don't know, like if you're not totally paying attention to it every day, because you're always outside, if you get that warning going, hey, you could get injured being in the heat. Like
Okay. Like,
it's just
dude,
like if you're
like
outside all day, or
if you work outside, like before you leave the house or whatever, like you're going to check the forecast and it's going to tell you that today it's plus 30 or it's 29 or it's 31 or who cares. You're going to check that because it's a consideration for your job, like an adult. And I know how much trouble you have with adulting. It's well documented.
no, but I do
But
that
if
every day. Like when I used to work and I
no,
used to
but
take the bus all the time.
you're gonna
Just listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. Okay. Listen, because like when I used to leave in the morning in the winter, I go, hey, Google, what's the weather? Okay. I was just listening to see if oh, there it goes.
it went, didn't it? We got to talk about
It
that
did.
next. That's
Oh,
fucking
we got
being
to talk
talked about
about that
next
next
week.
year. Cause I just said that, and my one in my bedroom, which is right behind this wall, um, just went off and told me what it was. Um, but I do that like both in the heat and in the cold, just because if I know if I need a jacket or if it's going to be minus 30 and I need all my stuff.
Like
But
an adult, you do it. You check. You find out what it's going to be, and you govern your life accordingly. You don't need this extreme cool morning, you know, like the Death Star is targeting our planet type shit here. Like, I just don't get this peddling fear, infantilizing
I
us.
get it to a point. I get it to a point, but there are people that are structured differently than we are that need to be told things.
But
Um,
listen, we've been on this planet long enough that for the vast majority of our lives to, like being a couple of guys the same age, that we've never had this extreme heat, extreme cool bullshit up until the last, like, say, 10 years or whatever of the government that's running our show. And you don't need that narrative, okay? Just give me the facts. Tell me what the temperature is. And guess what? I can actually make decisions for myself and govern my life. All I'm saying.
I'm sorry I got you so worked up. Or are you going to be okay? Do you need a breather?
Hey,
Like,
let
like,
me let me
because
let me
that's
check.
what,
Let me ask your phone, like if there's some tips for like. I'm gonna say it right now. Like, just see if it works from here, my house to your
it
house.
it
Hey
won't
Google.
because,
Hey Google. What solutions might I find to allow me to calm down?
dude, I have headphones on and you're
Oh, it's
saying it
not.
through
Yeah,
here.
right. Oh yeah, yeah. But
And that's why when you said it, and
oh yeah,
I was gonna interrupt you there, but it's just, I wanted you to have your moment.
yeah. I was rattled too. You don't
Do you,
want to get me more
do,
worked up. I'm sure.
okay, so what Mooney's talking about is when we are together, and especially at his house, when he's using his Google, and he goes, "Hey Google, play Mooney's boat list," and and then my phone goes, "I don't have access to that list." Um, I don't know how to stop it, like make it so that it doesn't react to you.
Like the sensitivity on your phone must be like hyper set up because, like, just for more context, I have a nice pair of connected Google speakers, and like kind of like our by our kitchen island, like dining room sort of where we entertain people, and it's stereo, and I'll go like, no, I don't want to do it because I got Google all around me, but like, hey Google, play Steely Dan, and um, and then my speakers, nothing happens because then I can hear Jimmy's phone in his like pocket or his pouch, going blah 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 blah.
Going,
It's like,
I don't have access to that list, but I could play this.
yeah, like it pretty
Yes.
much disables any Google utility that I'm able to use, like that we all set our lives up around. If you're, an Android user or whatever, and I don't know how to stop that, but
Yeah,
like,
because even me in my house, so my phone responds to that statement as well. So does my Google Home, and so does, like, actually no, those are the two devices, and whichever one responds first, it takes over. So
yeah,
as soon as if my phone responds first, my other one just then, like, you see it thinking about it because you see the lights, and then it stops thinking about it as soon as my phone speaks, or vice versa.
yeah, like I have a tablet in my office, like a Google tablet. It's pretty cool. Like it does it's kind of like part of the Google Home thing or whatever. Um, and sometimes I'm in the kitchen, which is away from my office, and where my speakers are, I'll say something, and then that'll get it going. But nothing is more sensitive than
Then my phone,
Jimmy's phone. Yeah.
because it's in my pocket and
I got
responding
my
to
phone. It's
his.
like, and I got my phone. It's sitting on the counter. You're sitting like away from me. I'm just saying. I don't know what's going
It's
on.
pretty
Like,
sensitive. It's pretty
pretty
sensitive.
intrusive. It's kind of like you. Like it's like shoehorning its way into everything when
Yeah,
it's
I
unwanted.
I shoehorn myself into things when I have your ass going, "Hey, I have no friends. Will you be part of a dunk tank, um, to help my kid?" Um, let's get into that.
Yeah, why
We
not?
have to jump into that one. So one of our big events this week, and why we didn't do our podcast neither Monday. Monday was the boat, and yesterday was a big event for the fraternity, the Deeks. What's the Pi Epila what
Delta
is
Kappa
it?
Epsilon.
That's what he said. Um,
Oh, by the way, before you like, so Monday we kind of had the idea that we maybe would do a podcast on the boat, but it's like it's so nice out there, and it's like, why do you want to kind of? This isn't work by any means, but also
no,
we had Ian with us, and we didn't want to be like, hey, why don't you sit over there while we talk for an hour? So, but one of these times, we'll like before I got to wrap it up. We should get out there like on a Monday or something and see if we can't do
Yeah,
it.
that's yeah. Again, I think we would have had signal enough because I was able to go Facebook Live from there,
Yeah,
but it just kind of depends on whether or not this streaming
yeah.
would well we'll do a test. We just
But
didn't want to
anyway,
test it.
yeah. So as far as the fraternity dunk tank thing that happened goes, like for those of you that don't know or understand, like, and it's probably most of you, but every year, like a fraternity, like they have to dedicate themselves to recruiting new members, and they call it rush. So, like, typically
Do you
from
know why it's called Rush?
no, actually, it's a good question. Like, if Bayrak was on here, he would because he's in our thing.
Balak
He's
knows
kind of like,
everything.
yeah, I know he's um,
He's like the encyclopedia of
all things Deke. Yeah, but the
yeah.
reason why we call it Deke is Delta Cap Epsilon is the are the three Greek letters that we use. I won't say what it means because it's secret, but uh, anyways, the Deke House is the biggest fraternity house on campus. We own our own house. We're not regulated by uh, the campus apparatchiks that tell other student clubs that they can't serve alcohol at events or any of the other silliness that goes on. We're not beholden to anybody, and we own our house, we own our lot, and it's one of the nicest pieces of real estate on or close to campus. And we always do pretty well with Rush, but it's not without a lot of effort. So we're always dreaming up new ideas to recruit new members, and not even like necessarily recruit, but bring guys by, come by the house, meet us. And, like if you meet five guys and they all have like varying levels of interest, but one of them just like kind of humming and hawing. And then you have another guy who's like totally jazzed and likes what we're doing. And then you're like, oh, he's going to make a good brother or whatever. But it's just about engaging fellas and having those conversations. And that location on 110th Street and 87th Avenue, right on the corner, is just perfect for foot traffic. So every Tuesday, with the first day of registration or school on campus, where typically you just go to class and get syllabi, um, or you go. We have a beer garden set up in Quad, I think. But every year we roast a pig in the front lawn, get a bunch of the fellows out, play some music,
And
and have
that
a
was
good time.
tasty.
Oh, that was a good pig,
That
eh?
was so good. That was really good. I had a couple sandwiches of that. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
like
did.
our
And
thanks to Roman T of the Decos and Walker and Alex, who were up at 3 a.m. the morning before to get that going on the spit.
and then just maintaining it, basting it, to just checking the temperatures and stoking up the charcoals in there. It was it was pretty cool. I like watching them
and
do
and
it, and they were
for
all content
yeah,
on dealing with it.
oh yeah, and like just so anybody wonders or like we use all of the pig. Um, like after it's been skinned and eaten or whatever, we use the head. Jimmy crushed a beer out of the pig's head. That was pretty
Out of
awesome.
the pig's head. Yeah.
That was awesome
Did
too.
you? Was that one of the videos you threw in the
Yeah.
folder?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was
Oh,
awesome.
it was the greasiest drink I've ever had, but it was very satisfying.
You
Like
know what?
you could taste the pig grease in the drink, but it was so good. Like it it
Yeah,
was
so
very
like
satisfying.
basically,
And
yeah, like you take the pig's snout and you put it to your mouth, and then you pour beer down the back end where you cut it off, and it comes down. And Jimmy, you're a rock star. Like you're one of the first guys to do it. You took your shirt off, and then
then they
everybody
all
else did.
started taking their shirt off
Everybody else
because
did. You started a
I didn't want
tradition.
to get the beer all down. 'Cause I didn't want it all down the front of my shirt,
Oh,
especially with the
like
pig grease. Like with the pig grease, I didn't want it in my shirt. It was a
I just thought that you were swinging dick, but everybody did it
oh no,
after. It
that
was
too.
hilarious.
Oh yeah,
You
it
told,
was, dude. I was the leader of the day. Like think about it. Like I was for the 2 hours in the dunk tank. I was in there, and then the guys lost a game, and the punishment was to
yeah,
get in the dunk tank, and every guy stood up and
yeah,
got in there at one point.
Yeah,
what
the
a
boys
great
really got
group of
after that.
guys.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
sorry to cut you off, but just to rewind a bit so people understand, like so every year we do the pig roast and we play the music and we got the couches out in the front yard or whatever. But we thought, well, let's add some more spectacle. Let's give it a little more pop. So Jimmy was talking about his drunk. I keep calling it drunk tank.
Tank
Oh my
tank.
gosh.
No, I've never been in the drunk tank.
Yeah, talking
I've
about
never been
the dunk.
arrested and thrown in jail because I was drunk. I came
Jimmy's
close a
talking
couple of
about
times, but
all the years that he he's done the dunk tank for charity. And I thought, wouldn't that be a great thing for us for Rush to attract members or at least attention to get people coming by and you can have those subsequent conversations and uh when you never know for sure when you try something for the first time if it's going to work out, but it worked like a little charm. Jimmy slides in there and he's like one of the guys who just fits in. Everybody loves the dude. Everybody gave him a toast at the end, but
and
it
everybody
was
loves trying to dunk me.
yeah, it was 2-6.
It,
And I think you were only on the chair for like an hour and a half, eh? We started about 2:30.
yeah, yeah, I was only on for a bit, and one person I have to give kudos to is your boy because he didn't cheat, but he took as many free turns as he could to dunk me. I think he took 6 times till he finally dunked me, and the look on his face when he dunked me was like he won a prize of some kind.
Yeah,
I got to dunk my dad's buddy, and I
he's
have to give kudos to the guys. They were all very respectful. They all got in and they all took their turn. And, they thanked me after and said, "Hey, thanks for getting us started." There was so many people there. Like you may have got, what, 5 or 6 rushes potential,
it was like
maybe more,
25. It was like 25.
25.
Yeah,
But there were so many people there, and then they were taking turns dunking each other. And I think the biggest cheater on the at the place was me. When they started getting in, I'm like, I'm not going to press the button. I promise, I'm not going to press the button. Boom, and then I
yeah.
did that a couple of
I have video
times,
of you doing that. It's awesome.
and
But
it and the appreciation that the guy showed us for doing that and bringing that there. I believe like they can bring the dunk tank there for next year and not even have me, just the guys doing it.
yeah,
They took it up and they had fun. And I
it's that's
I didn't have that college experience like they did because I lived at home. When I went to university, at the end of the school day, I'd go home, which was half an hour away from like on the Great Greyhound. So I never had that experience, but watching the guy and even some of the prospects, some of the new guys getting in. What was that one kid's name that lost the
oh
bet? He was one of the
Riley. So like
Riley.
just a little background. Like so, Jimmy was like I was making sure Jimmy was all right. So I got his towel there, and if he needs a beer, I got a beer. And by the way, I said to the guys, I mean, this guy does not. If he needs a beer, he gets a beer. And the boys are really good about that. But Jimmy's like, we also had a beer pong table that the boys are playing. So it's like two guys a team back and forth on the table. And and
And
Jimmy
that was
just
a
says, hey,
weird beer pong game. Like I didn't understand that
they
one.
were
It
playing that
involved
one with the
dice.
guy. I don't understand that at all, but whatever. Um, Jimmy goes, maybe you should arrange some kind of competition, like so some other guys jump into the tank. And
And the losers get into the tank.
yeah, so then I was like, I talked to Kieran and we said, hey, like maybe we ought to do that. So it was the way they figured it out was that the winners get 3 balls each, and the losers got to go in the tank. And like just pure genius, Jimmy, because then the boys get in there, and some of the older guys, the ex girlfriends are lining up. Like
It,
Ryan went in
it
there, and I'm
was
like,
it.
I'm like, we're gonna make a lot of money if we call your ex-girlfriends to come out here.
It was so funny because they were like, especially for the guys that were already part of the house, they were sharing shorts. Like, look, okay, I'm going in. Let me borrow your shorts. Some were going in their boxers, and and then all of a sudden my towel became the community towel, and then what? Then your boy brought me the another towel, and then it became a different community towel. I didn't actually have a towel the whole time because it was just
I had. What are you
like
talking
they.
about? I had the towel like hanging right there, ready for you whenever you needed it.
Yeah, no,
Like I was
but
there.
then I got out, but I got out. I didn't use the towel, but then towel was right there. Then the guys got wet. Then they used my towel, which became the community towel, which everybody used. And then as soon as one of the guys said, I took my shorts off and I'm butt ass naked underneath this towel. I'm like, keep it. Um, I don't need a
Well,
towel with some college guy's nuts on it. Um, just
yeah,
saying.
like we know, like the one of the guys that was what we call a rush, which is a kind of a potential member. That guy was like just a rock star. He actually went in the tank too. And I'm like,
Oh.
kid, you're like, if you join and you become a pledge, you're a legend because like nobody asked you to do this. And he's like,
No, he lost the bet. Like he said, because that shows he has class. Because he's like, I was part of the losing team. I had to go into the tank. I said I was going to do it. I'm going in, and
everybody
that
knows that guy's
shows
getting a pass because you want, yeah, but you're right. It shows a lot of class. He's a stand up guy. That's what we
because
want.
he's like I was a loser, so therefore I was part of the bet. I'm going in, and
Yeah.
I gained a lot of respect for him, and you're a kid, Kieran. Uh, What a great guy. I like, I love him. He was awesome. He was always trying to make sure, oh, do you need a beer? Do you want a sandwich? Do you need this? And I'm like, dude, I'm not royalty. No, I'm good. And he goes, no, no, we're like, you started this. We're making sure that we took care of you. And a
Yeah.
couple of the other guys were the same way. Like a bunch of
Yeah.
them were like, hey, is there something you need? And what a great group of guys. And with the fact that they all stood up and stepped in at the end and jumped in the tank, like, but like,
Well,
it
like
was awesome.
Terrell, so we arranged that through Dennis. And Terrell was the guy that showed up with the thing, and he brought his boy Ethan, who actually I ended up talking to, and Ethan's coming to U of A next year, so he'll probably join. But like
That's fantastic.
all the boys came and helped out, and like he said, he was coming at 6, and it was like 10 to 6. I'm like, oh my gosh, because the boys are still getting after it, which is awesome. Like, good for them. Like, and yeah, they're all decent kids. They really are. And I like to think that
But
that's always
but they
been like
stepped up
a
and
theme
like
that
that.
runs through our thing, like for all the years. Like you met all my buddies, like most of them are geeks anyways. And
Yeah.
like our one of our mottos is like gentleman, scholar, and jolly good fellows. So, you want to be a gentleman and you want to be a good guy, have a good time or whatever, but treat people with respect and like make sure that nobody's left out kind of thing. So, and by the way, that Riley, if you're listening, you're a rock star kid. Get your pin. I'll take care of you.
And and for those who are listening that weren't at the event, which there's a lot of people that haven't, at the end of the podcast, we have pictures and video of all the craziness that happened. It's going to be at the end of the podcast, so you can actually see like the craziness that happened because it was epic, and
Yeah.
great group of guys, and Bayrak was there, our buddy, and
Also,
and
Bernie Budney showed up. Kudos, Bernie. And then later on, Barry Hominick came by. And Barry, love you, brother. It's always great to hang with you. We used to have like late night chats back in the old days in the house, and he came by later and ended up chatting with Barry for a good hour. And such a great dude. I'm really glad you came by, Barry. Um, we're going to be honoring Barry on September 13th and his brother Daryl. the Hominic Night, Alumni Night at the D Coast, so that some of the rushes really get to see how engaged our alumni really are and how much the guys still care about our thing. But honestly, the star of the show was Jimmy. I mean, he brought everybody together. We got some good pictures.
But they worked hard. They worked hard to get engaged. Like
Yeah,
they were in, and you know, it was funny the conversation before because there was a lot of people and I'm gonna be kind of a little bit mean to people, not people from the club, but there's a lot of what's the best way to put it, libtards, that are like, we were worried about people complaining about the fact that there was a midget in the dunk tank. We were doing dunk a midget. We were worried about people, you know, being offended by it and not even with the fact that they are little people, with the fact that they get offended on behalf of other people.
yeah,
Um,
so that they can
and,
judge.
but there's no way in any sense of the word that there could have been a complaint from yesterday because everybody was in the dunk tank. The only person what who wasn't, what he has like 1,000 medical conditions that he can't get into a dunk tank. Uh, you know he can
Manufactured or
he can
otherwise.
he can take a boat and go in the water on a boat, but he all of a sudden, oh no, I can't because of this and because of this. And I have a fear of water, and I have I have a fear of drowning, and I'm worried about this condition and that condition. And then and then when I get in water, my Tourette's kicks in, and it's but
Like, like
none of
I
the other
really want to go
guys.
in, but
But there could be medical liability if I do. Just in case
oh
something happens, like, and
yeah,
and I was worried about that person. I won't
I
mention
was,
any names, but
like
it could
whoever
be
that
the
person
bald
was,
guy.
that person that you're talking about. It. One thing I did notice is that all they did was take care of you and make sure that you had whatever you needed, and like they didn't
Yeah,
have time to go.
but
That person didn't have time to go in the tank because they were so
yeah,
preoccupied with making sure that you were
but he
comfortable and
also,
getting what you need.
but that, but
Actually, I have a
that's
lot of
it.
respect for that person. Like that was a good dude.
No, no, I do too because he also had a kid that took care of me too. His name was Kieran. You know, because actually he gave a shit more about what happened to me than you did once you started, because you were a few beers ahead of me, um,
Yeah,
because I
like,
was,
you were a total pro, eh? Like you were only having
I
like a few sucks, like in between dunks. So yeah,
because I don't like to be drunk in the dunk tank just in case, because the water is, especially at the beginning of it, is above my head, so I need to be aware of what's happening. And then especially
yeah.
when I have a friend that threatens to hold my head underwater, um, as he's helping me up. Um, but I'm not mentioning any names, but he might be a guy that just did this, on camera. But
Like we don't want to name any names, but his son's name is Kieran. He's bald,
yeah,
but he
and
was a
he's
great
bald.
guy. That guy was a really good dude.
Oh, he was great. He kept giving me other people's beer. Um, it,
But no, honestly,
but
Jimmy, like I know the boys really appreciate it. It was really heartening to see everyone give you a hand at the end. But on like you're just a rock star, and like truthfully, uh, this was like an idea we were trying for the first time, and yeah, like um, I
there
think
were
it
so
feels like
many people that showed up, and like we
yeah,
got a lot of attention.
the hardest thing on campus is to be a free spirit, be objective, and have an open mind. And I mean, those were a lot of the elements that came into play with us doing this thing. And and you know what? It just turned into just a great party. Like neighbors were coming by, having a beer. Like it was just a great time. And yeah, I mean, a typical day like that on the Tuesday, we might get 5 names, 6 names, and I reckon we got over 25. and it was just having a good time. And honestly, Jimmy, like, I got to give you a lot of credit. I hate doing it because we know what kind of a dick you can be anyway. But you were like above and beyond. You had all the best ideas. It was your idea to begin with, and what a great launching
I was
pad for the
drunk at
rest
the
of the rush
time.
season.
I was drunk at the time, but when I came up with the idea, but on a different note, it was a great event to be part of. It was so much fun. You know, a lot of the guys were great. They were very inclusive. They, it, it was awesome. And, I didn't go to university, but it just, if I did, I would have wanted to be a deek. Like
Yeah,
if, it,
honestly,
like there,
Jimmy, like we have a couple contemporaries that I'm not going to say their names or whatever, but they're like, fuck, man, I totally should have done that, because they end up hanging out with us, like most of my friends are dakes, but it's like lifelong bonds that you create when you're like a pledge. And it's not even just the guys in your pledge class, it's like guys that are older than you, guys that are younger. Like Bayrak's best man at his wedding was a guy that initiated like 5 years after him, or 4 years. um and like you yesterday, like you meet the fellas and you know that we're gentlemen scholars and jolly jolly good fellows, and you go, yeah, man, like that's my crew. There's lots of guys out there like that, and it's kind of cool that there's a place where we can share time. And I got to tell you, Jimmy, there isn't you walk in those doors like tonight and you're going to be welcome. Like, all the boys loved you, and you could tell right away that you're one of the dudes. Everyone, like, you're pretty much honorary anyway. But that was it. That
but,
was a
but, okay. So
go ahead.
before we get off this topic, I need to clear something up. It's more questions than anything than statements on my part. One, where's my shit? Like I was looking around my apartment for my backpack with all my wet clothes. Did I leave it at the house or what happened?
It's in
Like
my truck.
where? Oh, was that what I put in your truck
Yeah.
before? Okay, and we didn't leave at the same time, did we?
No. Oh, you don't remember? Oh,
No,
actually, I gotta I gotta tell
because
you.
I remember because I was trying to figure out when I left, but then I sent you a text because I was looking at my text
Yeah, you
going,
told me you got
because
home, and
usually, because
like,
usually, because usually I say, "Hey, I'm home," but then my first text was, "I left," and I'm like, I don't remember leaving. I'm
no.
like,
Actually,
dude, I was gunned.
I thought you were pissed off at me.
No,
So
I was
this, like,
drunk.
so for your benefit, dear listener, like I was saying, my brother Barry Hominick showed up, and we got a chance to chat with him, and there were a couple of younger fellas. One of the guys lived in the house, another guy lived across the street, and Jimmy and me. So we sat in the back on the back deck. We were
Okay,
having
I
a couple
remember
beers.
that.
Yeah, and we were having beers, and then Jimmy was like standing beside me, but I'm talking to Barry, and then the other guys are kind of like around us. And I look, and like Jimmy's gone, and I'm like, what the fuck? By the way, Jimmy, before we did all that, like when we showed up, we had like a cooler with some beers and your towel and your bag with all your gear in it or whatever. And before we went around to the back to the deck, to hang out with Barry and those boys, um, that's Matt and Alex, who are really good guys, good members. Happy that they're active members right now and doing well in school. But anyways, we before we went back there, we took all of our shit and put it in my truck. So
I
all
kind
that
of
stuff.
remember putting stuff in your truck.
Yeah. So then what happened was, like you're Jimmy, you're usually in there for the long haul or whatever, and then this is the first time it's ever happened since I know you. And I'm like, oh, where's Jimmy? And then I see a car pull up in the back alley, and you're like getting in, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, you never even said, hey Mooney, like, when do you want to go or whatever? Because we usually go together, and you just called an Uber. So I'm like, okay. And then he was there for a while. So I came out and made sure you were okay. And it was like a full size SUV ish kind of thing, but it didn't have a running board, and it was like
Oh,
hard
oh,
for you
yeah,
to get
we
in.
need
And
we need to talk about that too. Okay, yeah,
I'm like
like
trying to
the
push your
Uber.
ass in there. But then I thought, like when I reached out to you today, like, hey Jimmy, what time you want to do the podcast or whatever? I was afraid you're gonna go, yeah, fuck you, Mooney. Like I wanted to leave, like an hour before, and I had to call an Uber myself or something. Like and by the way, folks, it wasn't that late. We're talking like maybe 11:30. So, but we got there
But
at noon though.
we got there before noon,
Hmm. Yeah,
and I had two beers while we were filling the dunk tank.
yeah. So does that clear things up for you, Jimmy? Or
A little bit. But now that you kind of touched on that, I need to talk about Uber One. So I signed up for Uber One because it gives you a little bit like discounts on some of the
yeah,
rides and stuff. But they upgrade your fucking vehicle. And so they
like
upgrade me to an
automatically,
SUV, like automatically upgrade me to an
right?
SUV. I don't need a freaking SUV. I wish I could pick. Like that's a something that
Like
I
when you
have
rent
an
a
issue.
car, I want a compact or I want a mid-size or
I
whatever.
want it like a Corolla instead of a freaking F-150. Like
Yeah.
I've had it where I call an Uber and I had an F-150 without running boards where the guy had to lift me into the fucking thing. Like, and I said to my buddy who's like over 6 feet, he goes, I've never been given a truck. I always get like a small car or an SUV. I always get the vehicles where the midget has to be thrown into the thing. It, and
Well,
now that you mentioned that you helped me in, I kind of remember that. But dude, like after I got out of the dunk tank, then I stepped on the gas. When it
yeah,
came to drinking beer, I went from drinking two beers in the 2 hours I was in the dunk tank to 12 beer before I left.
yeah, and you
Like
crushed
people
the
can't
big beer
as
too.
soon as as soon as my hand was empty, a guy was giving me a beer. Like
Well, the boys want to take care of you.
yeah, and and I'm not complaining, but it's just I got drunk fast, and then when I've got to a point now that when I know that shit's going sideways, I'm like, I better leave now before I lose my pants. Um,
Adulting.
adulting, yes,
Well,
like
I got to
like
tell
like,
you, like only time will tell. But I've been around that house and those fellas most of my life, and I think it's a pretty safe prediction that you're a fucking legend around there after yesterday because the boys really loved having you, and like we all did, obviously,
but it
and it was
kick-started
our
them,
most successful rush maybe ever, rush event maybe
but
ever.
it kick-started them. Like it
Yeah,
wasn't like they all stepped up when I got out because they had to do the bet because they had to settle the bet.
yeah,
Then everybody else started stepping up. Even the losers of the bet
yeah.
started
No,
stepping
like
up.
the guys that weren't even playing foos or sorry, beer pong. Guys were just hanging out. They're like, "I'll go in, fuck it." And
Oh, like almost everybody in the house was in there.
yeah,
Granted,
no, and you know what?
they
Even that, it's just a reflection of the general enthusiasm that everybody felt, and like the buzz that was being created. And I'm telling you right now, like that's a tradition. Like, okay, you started a tradition of taking your shirt off when you drink beer out of a pig's head, so that's definitely a tradition. But I think we pretty
I,
much started a tradition of like dunk tank, for rush on the Tuesday,
and
generate
shirt off
interest.
for the pig's head. So because of me, I totally transformed the decals because now they have all new traditions started by the one and only
The Godfather.
the the true talent of the Bold and Short of It podcast. Um,
By the way, um, the Godfather's Bayrack. I started calling him Godfather the other day, and like he didn't argue.
oh,
But anyways, it
he didn't
was
say, and let me guess when you called him Godfather and you go say hello to my little friend. Um,
That's Scarface. You don't mix up your
I
movie
know, but
metaphors. Get your shit
but
together.
but but in Scarface, he was a gangster,
Yeah.
and he was, and then and I'm your little friend, and
Well, you're little anyway.
okay,
No, but
little-ish.
to put a cap on it, it was just again, like I said at the beginning, you try something for the first time and you have an idea of how it might work out. You think about the negatives and the positives, and you go, oh, maybe like, and which we did, and like we're worried about being free spirits on a tightening, wokish type campus, and then just to see just a bunch of people have a great time, and maybe, like I said, arguably the best Rush event on a Tuesday that we've ever had. It was phenomenal. It was a great day. Thank you, Jimmy, and I know the boys just love you, and you're welcome back
So,
anytime. And by the way, they're doing they're doing movie night in the front yard tonight, and they're watching Animal House. So I wish them all the
uh,
best.
and and for those who don't know, because you weren't there, like again, I said it at the end of the podcast. There's going to be pictures and video of which I'm wearing a navy blue shirt that says college on it, the same as blue she
Pluto,
did in yeah
Pluto.
yeah in Animal House. So those will be in the pictures at the end of our podcast today.
Actually, Bayrak, like not even knowing you were going to wear that shirt, had that same shirt, which was
But
awesome.
he had a sweater.
Yeah, the sweat. Well, I think that it was a sweater originally, but whatever. Like, it's still awesome. Keeping the spirit going, and let reminding everybody about what we're about. We work hard, we play hard, and we treat people with respect. I mean, that's been our thing since 1932 on the U of A campus, and 1844 originally in Yale. So Delta Cap Epsilon all the way, motherfuckers.
All the way.
Now
Now,
I'd like to talk about your toes.
okay, do we want to talk about my toes or do we want to talk about sports?
It's Let's talk about your toes.
Okay.
It's dunk tank adjacent.
Okay.
So Jimmy's wearing his trunks and his college shirt, which was awesome, and getting in a tank, and I'm helping. Well, I'm not really helping him. He knows what he's doing, but like when he comes out
You
of the
were
tank,
passing me my beer. You were passing me a towel if I need.
yeah,
You were kind of my bitch.
handler,
Um,
handler.
no,
I was kind of your
continue about my
handler.
toes.
I was your handler.
Yeah, you weren't handling nothing. You were giving me a beer or a towel. Um,
No, but I'm like, I actually, I'm not going to manufacture a story. You're the one that pointed it out to me about your
yeah,
toenails.
I
To me,
actually said to you, I'm like, hey, dude, you know, I'm out here with my feet exposed. Maybe I should have cut my toenails, and they are kind of scary.
like I was like, oh, you mean like today? Because that question should have been asked 3 months ago, 4 months ago. I mean, I thought that maybe you hunted and gathered with those toenails.
No,
Dude,
but the thing is, though, is I was in a dark house before that,
yeah, and like you were in a dunk tank for charity, um, like 3 weeks ago.
and I cut my toenails before the dunk tank.
Are you serious? Like they grow that fast?
It's like my hair. It's not
Oh,
normal.
dude, I like if that was me, if I cut them then, like maybe I'd get like a couple millimeters, but no big deal. Um, anyways, I didn't know that they grew that fast, so I guess I don't know what you say about that. Good for you. Like fuck, I don't know, but
No, no, but it's just usually if I'm, you know, foot exposed, I usually cut my toenails. Like even yesterday, I didn't even take a shower before the dunk tank because I knew I was going to be in a dunk tank in my own piss all day. Um, and
Like,
and
we were
yes,
hoping that the fellows that went in after you didn't know that, but whatever.
I didn't
There's
tell
no
them.
chlorine in that fucking water, boys.
No, no, you're being disinfected by Jimmy. Um, the scent of Jimmy. Um, but yeah, like it like because I pointed it out and I'm like maybe I should have trimmed my toenails yesterday because they are actually kind of
No,
intense.
man, like you're like somewhere like just briefly south of Guinness Book. You know that guy in the Guinness Book with the fingernails that are
No,
like fucking.
yeah, but they're 2 feet. This is only like maybe an inch and a half.
And folks, it's not that bad. Otherwise, I'd be like after him in private. But yeah, we're talking half a centimeter,
But
and that's
even
too
I
long for
saw it, and
anybody's fucking nails.
I saw it, and I went, I should have trimmed my toenails before I came today.
Yeah. So, anyways, in response to that, and I'm not a, a beta dude or any kind of like I take care of my shit. I trim my toenails. I trim whatever.
Adulting.
Adulting. I adult. I think I do a pretty good job of adulting. Like
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure your wife makes you, but
I
as
think that
most men
maybe
do,
before Jimmy gets too worked up. Like I think that maybe in Jimmy's efforts to adult better, that I might be one of his adulting role models. But like that's between him
no,
and me.
no, that was way
But
before. I had people making fun of me way before you. Sorry, like
anyway,
you can't take credit for this shit.
I have done things. I've never had a manicure, but I have had my chest waxed. Um, Not a big deal, but that's not being a man, in my opinion. Um, and
I
then
don't need to have my chest waxed. I've had my nuts waxed, but that was
I
something
don't
different.
like yeah, leave that where it is. Um, but I have gone for a pedicure before. Like I haven't been like 20 or anything, but I've in time to time or whatever. And before I went to Vegas, because they had all these really cool flip flops, I thought maybe I'll get a pedicure. And like I have a buddy that has a hangnail. I had a teacher when I was in high school that had to take a day off or two. Of course, they're teachers, so who knows if it's a big deal for like surgery for excuse me a hangnail. And so I worry about that. And all of my pedicure experiences before this last one, like a couple weeks ago, were like totally rub your feet, give you a nice trim, take care of those pesky pinky toes that are hard to reach, and just great. But this time I'm like, whoa, what the fuck's going on over here? And they're preemptively like, peeling away a little skin so that you don't get a hangnail.
So they had the sander out
No, they're gonna
the
have that
bench
out for
grinder.
you. But you know what I was saying to myself is like why not do this like once a month when I gotta um get these things taken care of. Then I know it's done well, and I don't have to worry about the hangnail business later on. And it doesn't cost a lot of money. But then I saw Jimmy's like fucking claws, and I'm like, dude, you're coming with me next time I go. Maybe in a week or two we'll go, but by then, you might be planting roots with those toes of yours. I don't know. Like,
I
I
might
wish to
trim
keep
them down
everyone
a
in
little
touch
bit
about
before
that.
then.
Pardon me?
I might trim them just a little bit, or else my toenails will grow through my socks. Um.
But I'm gonna take video because like that's not.
Oh,
I know your hair grows like super fast. I get it. Like no one's gonna accuse you of having bad circulation. I bet, but those
no,
toes, like fuck me.
I definitely don't have bad hair. Um, in comparison to someone, I won't mention any names, but that. Um. Okay, so we've gone through my toenails and the nightmares they gave you. Um.
No, but
Let's
I
get
want
in.
this to be a thing. Like you're gonna
Yeah,
go. You're gonna go. Like I wonder if
I'll
they'll give
go
you
and
half
get a
price.
pedicure. Once they see once they see my feet, they're gonna like, I'm charging you double.
Yeah, yeah. I told you double. But
Okay,
listen,
now
we're gonna go.
after the
We're
racist
gonna keep.
moment with Mooney,
We're,
uh
we're gonna keep our regular listeners like I think maybe not next episode, but between next episode and the fall. So this is episode 11. Between episodes 12 and 13, if you're a regular listener, we're gonna get Jimmy's toes done. And
And
I,
we'll do a before and after. We'll do pictures of them with the grinder and the bolt cutters. And
like Dumb and Dumber. I don't know if it's gonna be a comedy or a horror. Like we'll see.
hey, I know one thing. When I got my nuts waxed, that was a horror for me. It was, yeah, I got video. Um,
You
of
do.
my
Let me
face,
ask you this.
of my face reaction, like not of actually them, you know, playing with my nuts, but just my
Let me ask you
reaction.
this. Do you do like manscaping at all?
Not normally, unless I have a strip show. Like if I'm going to strip for someone, yeah,
Yeah, you're
I
gonna
cut
keep it
down the
tight.
afro. I cut down the afro.
Afro. Fuck. Yeah. No, I definitely do. Um, but I've tried the Nair. Like you can do Nair where you just rub it on, but your timing has to be perfect. Otherwise, like your junk's gonna like burn for like a day or two.
Oh, dude, I had this.
There's like a
She
30
did.
second window when you rub that shit on you, and then you like wipe it away with a cloth or whatever after. There's a
Oh,
30-second window that it works, and then anything like if it's before you don't get it all. If it's after your junk burns like tire
uh,
fire.
she did sugaring or whatever that's called, and she did my entire it like it was like a bikini wax, and she's
Oh
like
yeah.
I could do, and she's like, do you want me to go your ass? And I'm like, no, I'm good. Like no,
Yeah, like do you
leave
want me
my
to go
ass
north? Just
leave
south.
my ass hairy. Like she did the entire big Jimmy and my nuts and like yeah, it was it. I've got video. I'll see if I can find a clip of it. But
I'd be
of
like,
me going,
you're here, you might as well go south.
and oh, she, and and like my coworkers at the time, like Locke and Grant were actually kind of disappointed that I, did not do the back end. And I'm like, the front end was the longest 45 minutes of my life. And
It's not like they
like,
have to live any day of the week ever of all the time that you've ever known them with like a tuft of hair crawling out of your crack. They wanted the spectacle of them getting going south, eh?
no, just of me going, like,
Yeah.
dude, I cried. Like, I almost cried. At one point, I thought she ripped off one of my nuts. And she was awesome. Don't get me wrong, but it's just, yeah, I like women that wax their legs and do all that. I have nothing but respect for you because that shit hurts.
Well, I've done my chest and more than once, maybe twice in my life. And to me, like part of being a man is like you don't fucking whine or bitch about that shit. And I gotta tell you, it hurt like fuck. And it's red for like 2 days, but they do it, and I'm like this.
But then when the hair
And
starts to
then the
grow
lady,
back,
the first
and
time I did it, she's like, "Wow, like most people like move or get excited," and I'm like, because I just want to
oh
go
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm already feminine enough that I'm waxing my chest. The
but
last thing I
it's
want to
different
do
when
is
you're
be a bitch
waxing your
about it.
nuts. Like if you're really gonna gloat on how you can prove do your nuts, dude. Like it's like she did my entire dinger
I'm telling you right now
and my
that
nuts, and
that is never going to happen. That is
she even did my taint. Like it was
so she did the chode, but she didn't do like south of the chode because you said no.
behind like behind, yeah. She didn't do my
Oh
ass.
yeah. But I'm telling you, I'm not. That is something that will never happen. I found good solutions. I have like the manscaping, the trimmer, and I do have the Nair still, but it's volatile. You gotta time it fucking perfectly. But Either way, those solutions are good enough. Like, why wouldn't you throw on a little Nair, and maybe even if you got to deal with a couple of days of like a little bit minor burning or
I
whatever, is better than having like somebody explore your
no, because
sack
we
and
were
like
talking
fucking
about it
rip off
because
wax.
because what it was is when I got the vaccine back in like during COVID, I wanted to be waxed and vaxxed, so I got waxed. That was kind of the
Like, how are the two related?
that was the premise, because they rhyme.
So it's like, is this for radio?
But yeah, it was radio. 100% it
Mm.
was radio. Like I wouldn't have done it otherwise. Um,
I'll
so
do, if you want to do it again, let me know. I'll do it. I'll be gentle.
no, how about we both get waxed?
No, that's not. I'm like, no, I'm not. I have no motivation for that at all.
And dude, if you're waxing my nuts, you're never going to be able to look at me the same. You're going to go, "Hey, dude, like, 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 I knew you were a midget, but I didn't realize it was that big." Um,
Make eye contact, eh?
yeah, where you're not even looking at it when you're waxing. Like, yeah, yeah, no, I don't need that in my life.
I
Oh,
kind of crave that intimacy with you.
okay, okay, let's end this part of the
Uh,
conversation here of you waxing my junk.
yeah,
And
no, but stay
do
tuned.
you have?
Episode and a half
Okay,
from now, we're gonna get those horrid fucking claws dealt with.
okay. Do you? We'll get into sports. So give us your sports report, and I'll get into my drunk thoughts of the week.
That's good. That sounds awesome. But I got to tell you, as far as sports go, like the Blue Jays are playing the Cincinnati Reds right now, and holy cow! When we started the podcast, it was I think it was 5-3 the Reds. Now it's 8-6 Jays in the top of the eighth. Why that's important, folks, is that right now the Blue Jays are the best team in the whole American League. And if you're hockey guys, that means our conference. And they're half a game back, or sorry, half a game ahead of the Detroit Tigers, and 2.5 games ahead of the New York Yankees, who are in our division, the AL East. Um, I think today, if they win tonight, it'll conclude the series with the Reds, and so they'll win that series 2-1. I don't want to jinx anything. I mean, it's the top of the eighth, but um, those guys just don't stop, and I'm really, really, really excited about a September with the Jays and an October. So you get a chance to watch these guys, and if you love baseball at all, even a tiny bit, get after it because those guys really dig each other. You see the fun in the dugout. The amount of care that's going on with these guys, it's great. In other news with sports, if you're an Edmontonian, the Eskimos lost the Labor Day Classic decisively. They didn't score a touchdown the whole game. But having said that, Calgary hasn't lost. First of all, like the CFL East is a garbage division. Like they all kind of suck. Um, but Calgary hasn't lost to anybody in the Western Division. So Calgary's a wagon. They're a team to be reckoned with. And we didn't really compete with them. I feel like maybe the first quarter, I watched the game. Um, I feel like we hung in there with them, but by the end, it's just like their defense is just sick. So that's the Eskimos. That's CFL. You're lucky, Eskimo fans, if you get a chance to see a playoff game. But my money says it's not likely. But the team does keep improving, so you never know. I'll keep watching and I'll keep cluing you in because I care about the Eskimos. Um, the more notable sports story that you might have heard about is like speculation from John Shannon, who's a hockey commentator. He used to produce Hockey Night in Canada. Used to comment on Sportsnet broadcasts. Said that Connor McDavid is not going to sign before the start of the regular season, which obviously like shot off a bunch of alarm bells. But it's just like How do you know? Who do you know? What do you know? And with guys like that are connected, whose reputations are aligned with the accuracy of what they report, I mean, he's maybe one of those guys. So you don't want to question what he has to say, but it certainly gets people fucking going. But even McDavid himself had said at the Canadian Olympic pre-camp that his goal is to win with Edmonton. So yeah, anybody that really cares about that kind of stuff, it's like slow your roll. He's going to sign with Edmonton. In case you don't know, McDavid has 1 year left on his Oiler contract, so he's obviously playing this year with us, but he's got to renew with us. He's a free agent, so as he renew with us before the season starts, and avoid all of the distraction with all the media stories when he goes to Toronto. How come you haven't signed yet, Connor? Like he's gonna have to deal with that 82 games of the fucking year. Nobody wants that. But like who knows? Maybe he's but it doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. He's all the all the verbal says he's staying in Edmonton. Maybe he's having a great summer with his girlfriend and his best friend who just got married and working out, having a good time. I know the boys are skating right now at the downtown community arena. They're getting ready for the season. The juju is fucking tight. Boys are ready to go. So before you get too excited about McDavid, slow your roll. He's in Edmonton. I'll leave it at that, Jimmy. Sorry about the time.
Okay, sorry, I have a question though, from something you just said. So, is enjoying hanging out with his girlfriend. What does his wife think of that?
I meant his wife. Sorry, they did. Yeah, they got married
Okay,
last year.
okay, okay, okay. So, like, this isn't other news that you know something about that he has a wife and a girlfriend. Like, I'm
No,
just double checking.
I'm
Okay,
glad you clarified. Maybe I used the wrong words. Obviously, his wife. Yeah.
yeah, because I was pretty
Sometimes we
sure she
forget.
got
Like, I
married.
mean, I've been an Oiler fan since I'm able to understand what hockey is, and
So 5 years. Um,
yeah, and so a year is nothing. And I know McDavid got married last summer, but fuck, like I said, a year is nothing. Like I remember Brett Callaghan and Risto Siltanen and Dave Lumley, like all those guys from back, Al Hamilton. Like Jacques Plante played a year with the Oilers back in the WHA. Anyways, doesn't matter. What else you got, kid?
okay, so we might as well do it now because I am kind of drinking. So therefore, let's do drunk thoughts with Jimmy.
By the way, just before you do, what are you drinking? Because I know you said I'm getting after it. I gotta go get some beer or whatever. What did you get?
Uh, I got a couple super cans of Lucky, but then I have this Medicine Hat beer. It's called the DB Lager. It's done by Canadian Beaver. It's like you can get 15 pack for $18. It's
Wow.
actually,
And
it's
those are like tall
actually,
boys, eh?
no,
Oh,
it's
regular
it's a normal
Canadian.
can. But I do got the tall boys of Lucky as well. But I'm
Yeah.
also getting into the spice rum too. Um,
We better end soon.
but I haven't really cracked the spice rum yet. I was waiting until later in the podcast or in the after hours.
You want me to come
But
by and we'll hang out? Because like we haven't hung out
no,
enough.
no, I actually, dude, I was actually going to call in sick for the podcast because I spent the last 2 days with you, but
Calling sick. Calling sick to the podcast.
I,
It's like an
I
hour of
must
us talking.
I must be allowed at least one sick day.
Like
Um,
it's 9 o'clock. Where's Jimmy?
oh, he got strep.
Calling sick.
But
I
yeah,
fucking love
so
you, dude. You're the best.
but but the funny thing is you know where the drunk thoughts come from is like we talked about it last podcast
Yeah.
is I got into journaling but then sometimes I get a little more emotional or start like whatever when I'm drinking, where I come up with stupid ideas. One of which was this podcast. Because that was back in February. It was in my Drunk Thoughts of Jimmy, a podcast with Mooney, because we were talking about it on the boat,
Yep.
and then it became reality. So my this Drunk Thoughts with Jimmy was August 31st. That was a couple days ago, and it says I remember back, and this is what I wrote when I was drinking. I I. I remember back when I started working with a company that really focused on goal setting. And with all the struggles I have right now, with like lack of income, I have two goals that I want to happen in the next 5 years. And that is to have enough income to either buy or rent a house that I can own a dog because I love dogs.
Yep.
And that was my drunk thought. So it's like, because I've grown up with dogs ever since I was a little kid. Like
Yeah.
we always like some of my first pictures that my mom has, like, and one of them is on my phone, is is me and my dad with Lady, our dog, and I was like little, like not even a year old,
Yeah.
and I remember having dogs ever since, and I love dogs. Like, I know, because I was thinking about this when we were on the boat, and you were saying you're not sure about having a dog because you travel so much and you're away and stuff. But I know, like, when you come home after a hard day at work, and
Excuse me.
the dog is happy to see you, and they smile like as dogs do. It means the world. Like, it's a thing. But yeah, but that, as I said, on the 31st, I
Yeah.
wrote that, and
That was your drunk thought.
that was my drunk thought. They're not always going to be like a quote from a movie
Yeah.
or some kind of philosophical thing, but
Yeah.
it's where my head's
I'm
at
gonna
the
come
time I'm
after you.
drinking.
I'm gonna come after you a little bit, um,
Okay.
because like your drunk thought is, I want this. I'm gonna make enough money to make that happen. And it's kind of like if you have like if you're journaling or if you have like a goal, you want to set a goal. Um, the goal has to be more tangible. So the goal would be like, my goal is to make X number of dollars a year. And then all the other stuff, like the dog and the whatnot, is like after that.
But there has to be emotion behind it.
You're like
There has
your
to be a
goal. Your
hot
goal
button.
is an object, not like an achievement. You understand what I'm saying? And like, not for nothing, but I've done all the courses and I do like motivational, but I don't do it because I don't want to be fake or whatever. I'm too skeptical. But the point is that if you're going to establish a goal for yourself, the goal has to be tangible. So, like, the dog is a byproduct of the achievement of that goal. So, what you, and I know it's drunk thoughts, so I'm going to stop there. 'Cause I'm like, I was drunk and I wanted
No,
to
no,
talk. Fuck
but
off.
the thing is though, in the goal, I'm like, either like make enough money that I can move
Yeah.
into a place that allows dogs, because where I am, they don't
Yeah.
allow pets.
But hang on. It's like, make enough money. So the goal should be, I need to make money. How am I going to make money? My goal is to do this to make money. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's a lot more granular than, I want a dog, so I need enough money to get a dog. It's got to be more granular than that. Like I want to achieve these goals that make me money, and then hopefully I can achieve another goal that makes me more money, and then I can, like, have a goal where I have enough money. Like, it's all about having the money to afford a dog. The dog actually is actually inconsequential. But anyway, I
But
don't.
it's a hot button.
Sure.
It's something it's something that will push me to do that.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
I'll tell you this
bite
though.
my ass.
I'll tell you this though, dear listeners. Uh, our good friend Ian Elliott, with Mosaic Collective, brokered by EXP Realty, is I've been in real estate my whole career, and he's one of the best guys I know. Really good dude. When we were at the Wapman Hotel with Jimmy, we were saying, you know what? Why don't you try real estate? And Jimmy, like, it's ultimate. Jimmy hasn't made a commitment, and that's all good. But I mean, Jimmy's people skills are way better than mine. Just like being out in the public, and he's and somehow I've found a career in this business. And we've talked to Jimmy about it. It's like you're gonna have our support. The Mosaic Collective, it costs the agent nothing. Um, and I'm not that I'm special or whatever, but I have over 20 years experience as a broker that helps people craft deals or whatever. And we're trying to convince Jimmy to maybe pursue that as a goal. Like my goal is to get my real estate license. Okay, you achieve that goal. My goal is to make at least X number of dollars a year. Okay,
Okay,
and my goal,
okay, that I get. Okay, I know where you're going there.
yeah.
Okay,
Anyways,
yeah.
we don't have to talk about it now.
But
We never prepared
we'll
for
talk
this.
about that. We'll talk about that after the fact. But I
Point being is that
yes.
maybe if it's a path you pursue, and no one's saying you are, but like a couple guys that know that are in the business think that it would be a good path for you to pursue. It's like nobody makes that decision but you. But if you do, it'd be nice if we charted it. What the fuck is that?
What
What you just had in your.
this? It's an ice cube tray that also doubles as a water bottle. Um,
Well then,
so I'm gonna add rum to it in a minute. Um,
all right. Sorry, I like we didn't even talk about that real estate bit, but we'll talk about it more. Whatever, I don't care.
yeah,
But
because every time we talk about it, we're drinking.
yeah,
Just saying. Which we are drinking right now. But who knew? Um, I say this is a good place to end the podcast. Is there anything that
I
you
think
want to say before we
yeah. I know I said it before, but like, dude, like I brought you to the house. The boys met you, all the guys know you, and it's like water finding like ground. Like you show up and everybody like you're a good dude. Everybody like respects you, appreciates you, and I mean, I hate that this is being recorded or whatever, but I'm honored to be your friend. You're a fucking awesome dude. So it's said, don't hold it against me. The point is that like the boys, like pretty much everybody that I run into, like I mean, where we go to Taste Edmonton, we go to Quality Taste. You're really good with people, and people really dig you. I have a lot less patience for that, and like just seeing you become one of the boys yesterday was it's honestly a treat because I know you like almost 15 years, and you've always been a great dude. So
but the thing is though is it's it's more than that because the guys treated me like one of the guys from the time I walked in the door. And that is a testament to them. Like because to be honest, they they were taught right. Like
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like they
yeah,
treated me with respect. Hey, you're here helping us, and what can we do for you? And
yeah,
that's a testament to them and their
No, it,
upbringing, and
it's a testament to our thing. Like I'm Deke to
so,
my core. I'm Delta Cap Epsilon to my core. If not for anything else, but the fact that like the values and like gentleman scholar, jolly good fellow, respect that we have like for our thing resonates with me, and it resonates with all of my brothers that are like we were talking about Tony on the boat. He's my son's big brother, and I'm Tony's firstborn son's godfather. I'm Tony's firstborn son's godfather. And it's just that
yeah.
we know that we share the same values. So like a guy like you walks into a room like that, like it's not gonna take long before guys figure out that you're fucking tight as a kite, that you're a solid guy and that you're like one of us, right? Even though you haven't
And
gone through all this shit.
but but with the fact that they respected me showing up and doing that, and they made that shit grow. Like they made, like
It doesn't start
they
without
all
you, dude. And that
they
was
all
your idea
stepped
to get
up.
that going. So they yep.
But what I'm saying is it takes a team to build an event like that, and they all stepped up. From the guys who got up at 2 o'clock in the morning to start the pig,
Okay.
to like the 6 or 7 guys up there talking to people, you know, and playing games and jumping in dunk
Sure.
tank, and
Yeah.
making sure that I got beer, and then they made sure that you stayed drunk. Which you helped yourself too. But
Yeah,
but it
you didn't want for anything yesterday, did you?
no, I like it, like
Boys took
anything I
care of
need.
you.
Hey, anything I needed. Hey, dude, actually, Kieran actually said you should eat something. Um,
It sounds like Andrea.
that because Andrea was, you need to take some shit home. Um, but yeah,
My
you need to
husband.
eat.
Yeah.
No, the husband's only friend. Um, but yeah, it was a great day. They were all awesome guys. And you said it's what's it called? Rush week?
Yeah, like rush like month and a half, 2 months. Because the Delta Kappa Epsilon fraternity has a big party on Friday, September 5th, and then another one in a couple weeks, and then um, October, like the last Friday before Halloween, we do our annual maze party that was happening before I even joined, where they make a massive tunnel throughout the whole house with pallets and cardboard, and then slides down to like the floor that takes you down to the basement for the party. The guys, we have great traditions that do that, but we need more things to happen to bring the young guys in. And like yesterday was great, and just build on that momentum.
Yeah, it was a fun day, and good on you. Thanks for inviting me and having me part of it. And
Good
just,
on you, Jimmy. Like in fairness, like dude, love you, man.
it's like, yes, we give each other the gears on this podcast, but we are friends. We are brothers. And if anyone said half the shit I say to you, they'd probably have to deal with a headbutt from a midget.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Likewise,
but
100%.
yeah, and you know what? It was a good day. You know, we're family. This is the Bold and Short of It podcast. I'm James P. White. That's Mooney. We're gonna call it good because why not?
Trump dunked a midget. Oh, okay. Or a little person. Yeah!
Let's go. Give him one more.
One more, all right.
Why are you giving him one more?
Cuz. Oh! Let's go, Ship.
Go get it.
Woo! Hang on. Hang on. Here's to Jimmy. He's got class. Here's to Jimmy. He's a horse's ass. Ready? Let's go! Let's go!